Have you ever wanted to start a podcast and just didn't know where to go to get your journey started? Well, look no further than Anchor Podcasting. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast, and it gives you everything you need for free in one spot, which you can use right from your computer or a mobile device if you need to record on the go. Creation tools allow you to edit and record your podcast to make it sound the best possible way for your audience and listeners. And they'll also distribute your podcast for you, so you don't have to go through the hassle of talking to different platforms in order to get your podcast through to everybody you wish. This includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and many more. You can easily make money through Anchor Podcasting, and it doesn't require minimum listenership. So once you get started and set up, money can flow in from all directions. So if you're ready to get started, download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's ANCHOR.fm to get your ball rolling and start your podcast journey. You're listening to the Touch 'em Up podcast. I'm your host, Double M, and on our next episode, it's going to be the second installment of the Double Trouble Breakdown as we go over the number one contender in the featherweight division, Alexander the Great Volkanovski. So let's get this started and step into the ring. So yeah, guys, Alexander Volkanovski, like I said, number one ranked contender in the featherweight division, really came out of nowhere, undefeated in the UFC with a record of 7 wins, no losses, an overall record of 20-1. Coming off 2 back-to-back wins over Chad Money Mendez with a second-round TKO, and then a decision over Jose Aldo Jr. at UFC 237 in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Just a really, really bright, I wouldn't even call him a prospect anymore because he's the number one contender. Just came in and has honestly dominated everybody that he's fought. So we're going to go over his career. I'm going to break down some of his fights. I think I'm missing one fight in here. I'm not sure who it's from. I went over a lot of the fights he's had in the UFC and just broke down the techniques he uses and everything like that. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and I'm ready to get this thing started, so let's go. So the first one I have is his fight against Mizuto Hirota. And one of the things he used very well in this fight is he used an underhook and wrist control on the opposite side in order to control Mizuto Hirota against the fence. So it was an underhook and then wrist control on the opposite side. So that way, if you try to circle towards your underhook, you're stuck, but you can't go the other way because he's blocking you on both sides. It's kind of like a fence on both sides of you. He's boxing you in against the fence. And as we go through a lot of his fights in his career, this is mainly what Volkanovski likes to do. He likes to pressure you. He'll use like a high guard and push forward and then use that to get into an over-under clinch or a double under clinch up against the fence and then work from there, and usually set up double leg takedowns if he can against his opponent. Aside from that, this is when he has Mizuto Hirota up against the fence. So he has that wrist control, and Mizuto Hirota tries to circle to his left off the cage, and then that's where Volkanovski has the wrist control. So like I said, you're blocking him at both sides. But Volkanovski lets go of the left wrist as he circles away and then dips down and throws an overhand right as he circles off. So he's got control of your wrist. And as you go to circle off, he lets go, comes over the top, and lands an overhand right and drops Hirota. This was a great combination. It's basically creating offense off of your defensive pattern. So when you're against the fence and you're pressuring somebody, you're going to try to circle away and get your hips off the cage so you can get back to the center. So Volkanovski knows this. He lets go of the wrist control to make Hirota think, okay, I'm going to circle out and get out of the way. And then he comes over the top with that right hand, right on the jaw, drops Hirota, lands some vicious elbows on the ground, but he's able to get back up and go into the second round. One thing I noticed from the second round of that fight is he would get him up against the fence again with, that high guard, push into you, get the over-under clinch, hold you up against the fence. And then instead of using that overhand as Hirota circles off, he went the other way and threw a spinning back elbow and really hurt Hirota against the fence. And again, it's all, and then he's moving in, moving out, fakes and feints, using that crisp striking, and then it's striking to grappling transition. So he'll throw like a jab right hand get underneath you and try to take you down against the fence. Usually all of his takedowns come against the fence. He uses the fence to set up his takedowns, and he ended up getting a unanimous decision win in this fight. Next, he fought Shane Young, who is actually one of his teammates now at City Kickboxing in New Zealand with Israel Adesanya and Kai Kara France. And one of the things I noticed in this fight is, again, like I said, he uses the double leg shots up against the fence. And another thing he likes to do is use an outside reap takedown. Kind of like if you watch the Ben Askren and Robbie Lawler fight, he'll get you in a double leg position. He'll put his head like right right where your abdomen and your waist like connect. He'll put his head on there, and then he'll take his outside leg, which is usually your lead leg, so the left leg, and he'll put his leg around your leg and pull you out. Like pull you off the fence as he has a hook of your leg. So it's a hook on your leg. He kicks your leg out and pulls you out. Ben Askren did this against Robbie Lawler. As Lawler tried to get out, he circled towards the one way, got the leg around Lawler's leg, pulled him down, and got the takedown. And Khabib Nurmagomedov does this as well. And then once he gets that outside reap takedown, he locks your legs on top of each other in like a mounted triangle on your legs. So that was the first round. The second round of this fight against Shane Young, Volkanovski uses a switch kick to set up his right hand. So it's to keep him against the fence. Again, it's all about pressure with Alexander Volkanovski. So he throws that lead left high kick and then follows it up with a right hand. Because where you're going to go, if I throw a left kick, you're going to circle to your right. But if I cut you off at the circle with that right hand, then you're forced to go back to your left, and he can put you back in the over-under clinch. Young tries to go for a takedown. Let me see. Hold on. Young tries to go for a takedown on Volkanovski, but Volkanovski is able to defend it and use the lead hand as a control, like a frame, to push you back against the fence. So he tried to shoot on Volkanovski as Young's back was close to the fence, but Volkanovski stuffed it and then used his lead hand to frame you off and then keep, again, the pressure. So he frames you off from the takedown, and then he's back into his game, and you're back against the fence again. It's all about cutting you off and circling you towards the fence, keeping you in a box. He's always about keeping you in a certain way in order to get these shots off and set up his takedowns. And like I said, he only uses the takedown against the fence. He doesn't shoot in open space. I watched a lot of his fights. Maybe I missed it, but I never saw him shoot a takedown in open space. It was always when he was able to crowd you up against the fence. And this is mainly, I think he does this. And obviously, I'm trained in mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu and everything. So usually when you take down somebody against the fence, it's to conserve your own energy. I'm not saying it makes the takedowns much easier, but you're not pushing as much as you would if you're trying to shoot from the middle of the cage or from far out in range. If you're up against the fence, you're not using, of course, you're using a lot of energy to pull them off the fence, and clinch fighting is probably one of the most exhausting things you can do in combat sports. But in terms of takedowns, it's easier to set up takedowns against the fence and use trips than it is to shoot doubles and singles from the middle of the cage. And he ended up beating Shane Young by a unanimous decision. Next fight I have on here is when he fought Jeremy Kennedy, and it was just a lot of grappling and top control to finish Kennedy. I believe he finished him at the end of the second round. I'm pretty sure it was the second round, but he just constant takedowns and pressure on the top. He likes to fight a lot from half guard. He'll do a lot of his work from half guard on top. So he'll have, let's say, if you're like a casual fan, I'll try to explain this. So if I take you down and I'm on top of you, I'm going to be in your guard. So your legs are going to be wrapped around me, and then you're going to cross your legs, like cross your feet, and then you're going to try to take your left hand and overhook my one arm, and then keep your right hand on the top of my head. And this is to keep me in control when I'm in your guard, because guard is not a good place to be. Some people can work really effective from the guard, like Khabib Nurmagomedov, or Tony Ferguson's good from the guard, but mainly from the bottom with throwing his elbows. But Volkanovski likes to use the half guard position instead of the full guard. So he'll get you in a half guard where you have, let's say, here, how am I going to explain this? Because I know this in my head, but it's hard to explain. So instead of the full guard where your legs are wrapped around me, I'm on top of your one leg, and you're grapevining one of my legs, and my other leg is on the outside of your hip. So it's not a full guard, it's only half. So I'm controlling one of you're controlling one of my legs from the bottom, and I'm trying to hurt you from the top. And he used this to land elbows and punches and just constant strikes and overwhelmed Jeremy Kennedy and got the TKO finish at the end of the second round. Next, we'll go to his fight against Darren the Damage Elkins, a well-known name in the featherweight division. And one thing I noticed from this fight is Volkanovski's always calm going backwards. You know, a lot of guys, when you back them up, they'll kind of get fidgety, and they'll try to throw punches that they don't need to throw because they don't want you to pressure them. But Volkanovski, you know, he'll move forward and then he'll back up, and he'll use that lead hand frame to circle around you as you back him up. So he'll circle as you back him up, so he's never going in a straight line backwards or forwards. You don't really see him going straight at all. He's always on the angle and circling. When you back him up, he'll circle around and use that lead hand in order to get away from the fence. So you can't do what he likes to do, which is pressure against the fence, take you down. So Volkanovski tried to go for a guillotine in this fight, but he couldn't get it. So once he's on the ground, and I believe Elkins actually took him down from the guillotine, slammed him from the guillotine, but he wasn't able to get the guillotine. So Alexander Volkanovski used the underhook, which is where you're going to, let's say you're on the bottom. You can use an underhook on the feet too when you're in the clinch, but you're on the bottom. You go underneath one of your opponent's arms, which is usually, I believe it's usually the rear arm. I'm not 100% sure, but you go underneath the arm, and you're going to use that to push your opponent and then hop up and get back up to your feet and get away. So he did this against Darren Elkins, and then right after he got up from this underhook, he pressured forward with, again, that high guard, or he'll throw like a jab to a looping overhand right, and then he shot a double leg takedown and took Elkins down. And then again, later on in the fight, he lands 2 overhand rights, which drops Elkins, but he can't finish him off. So this is, again, it's up against the fence. He'll push you back towards the fence with the fakes and the feints and the pressure, and then he'll come over and loop that overhand right, hits him with one, boom, hits him with the second one, drops Darren Elkins, tries to finish him off with some ground and pound on the ground, and isn't able to do it. But let's see. After he lands that second overhand right, he rolls. So like I said, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I'm going to the more we talk about Volkanovski. He's very defensively minded. He'll use his offense, but he usually already has a defensive way to get out of the way or knows what you're going to throw. So he lands that second overhand right and immediately circles under to his right. So he'll roll under to his right after he throws that overhand right, just in case you're able to throw a counter off of that. He's always getting out of the way. So he'll throw that, he threw that first overhand right, threw the second one, and rolled to his right in order to get away from any of your attacks if you were going to counter off of that. And then he beats Darren Elkins by unanimous decision. Again, the next fight, probably one of Volkanovski's toughest fights that he's had, really to shoot himself up into top contender status in the featherweight division. He fights Chad Money Mendez. This was the first time I saw Alexander Volkanovski. It was at UFC 232 on December 30th, I believe. And let's go over this. So, like I said, I didn't see Volkanovski before this. I knew he had a record of 18-1. Obviously, he's good. I just hadn't seen a lot of him. But let's go over this fight. So against Mendez, he likes to use, he was constantly, again, all Volkanovski, main thing is pressure. Keeping you on the back foot, faking and feigning, and trying to set up, which we're going to go over now, the lead high kick. So he likes to throw the lead high kick when you're close to the fence, because he'll go forward and boom, he'll fake and throw the lead high kick, because you know what it's doing. If you're a right-handed fighter, and you're standing in an orthodox stance, which is left foot in front, right foot in back, he throws that lead left high kick, you're circling towards Volkanovski's power hand. So he'll come in, he'll throw that lead high kick and get you to circle towards the right hand, and then that's when he can set up the jab to the overhand right, which would usually go to a clinch, but he didn't want to clinch Mendes too much because of his high-level wrestling. So he uses that lead high kick to direct you towards his power side. He lands the right hand and circles away from Chad Mendes. So he's keeping you away from him, but he's also pressuring you at the same time. Next, he has a very, very slick jab. You saw it in the Mendes fight. Just boom, up top, and then he landed it to the body, and then he pulls away with like a bladed guard as you try to move forward and counter off that jab. So it's bop up to the top and just slides it in, and then boom, back to the body, and then slides out of the way. So he did this a lot against Mendes. And whenever Mendes would get close to Volkanovski, Volkanovski likes to crowd him with that high guard. So Mendes would try to throw his combo. Volkanovski would immediately throw like a throw like an overhand right or a left hook, and then crowd him as he gets close so that you can't throw your punches because you're getting crowded in space. You have no space to get off your attack. So he's constantly pressuring and pushing you back. And again, using the inside leg kick to the jab and then the jab to the inside leg kick. This ended up leading to Chad Mendes' demise in this fight. So, jab, inside leg kick, gets you to circle towards Volkanovski's right, throw the right hand, and then, again, he likes to use those lead high kicks. If you're going towards the fence, boom, lead high kick, circle towards towards Volkanovski's power hand. Boom, lead high kick, circle towards Volkanovski's power hand. It's always keeping you where he wants you to be and not letting you get off your game plan. Mendes was able to time one of the like crouches or crowds that Volkanovski liked to use, where he gets like head to chest and throws those punches. He timed him coming in and shot a double leg and circled off and got him down. But Volkanovski was immediately, the second Mendes got him to the ground, Volkanovski pushed on his hands and backed his butt up towards the fence, just pushed away, pushed back till you get to the fence, and then put your hand on the head, push down on the head, get up, get your hips back from underneath you, circle off the fence, and get back to the center. Use this perfectly. He's take me down all you want. I'm going to get back to my feet. And that's what he said before that fight. Dominic Cruz touched on it in the commentary. Take me down all you want. I'm going to get back up. And then what are you going to do? And like I said, Volkanovski's calm going backwards. We're going to go into the second round of the Mendes fight now. So Volkanovski throws an uppercut to a lead left hook as Mendes tries to push him against the fence. So Mendes tries to come forward and push Volkanovski back, but he's not able to do it. So it's an uppercut, lead left hook. And then Mendes lands a 2-3, which is a cross to a lead hook. And Volkanovski tried to, like I said, uppercut to lead left hook. This was in the same exchange. So Volkanovski was against the fence. He goes for the uppercut to the lead hook, but Mendes times it, throws a cross to a lead hook, and drops Volkanovski. He got there first. If Volkanovski landed his combination first, it might have dropped Mendes, but it doesn't. He lands, drops Volkanovski, but Volkanovski immediately gets back up and gets away from the fence. And then another thing, and if you watch Chad Mendes, if you watch his fights against Aldo in the second fight, and he might have, not in the first fight, but as his career went on, he likes to feint a takedown and come up with an uppercut. So he's pressuring you, he's using his footwork, boom, fakes the shot, comes up with that uppercut to catch you off guard because you're going to drop your level trying to stop the takedown. But I said Volkanovski's extremely defensively minded, very, very smart fighter. So when Mendes is pushing Volkanovski back, he goes to throw that uppercut, and Volkanovski times it with a left hook, so he covers up with the uppercut from Mendes. Mendes throws the uppercut, Volkanovski covers up, takes that left hand, and lands the lead left hook as he throws the uppercut because your face is not protected, your guard's down, he comes around the guard, throws that lead left hook. Like I said, shows how very defensively minded he is and how smart he is in the chaos. Let's see what's next. So Volkanovski, again, just puts on the pressure on Mendes. And you could see towards the beginning to the middle of that second round, you could see Mendes was just getting exhausted. And he continues to pressure him and push Mendes against the fence. Mendes tries to circle to his right away from Volkanovski's power hand, and he eats an uppercut to a jab against the fence and then uses the cross as a frame. Like, the jab is more a frame. I said the cross, so let me rephrase this really quick. So he tries to circle to his right away from Volkanovski so he can get off the fence. Volkanovski tracks him and throws a uppercut to a jab, but it's more of a frame to keep Mendes off of him and hold him back, and then fires the cross as Mendes moves away. So every direction you try to get away from him, he's got an attack for you to push you back towards where you don't want to go. Again, cutting you off. You're going to go to the left? Okay, I'm going to push you back towards the right. Oh, you don't like going to the right? I'm going to keep you that way. Oh, you want to go back to the left? Cool, I got something for you when I switch stance. It's always defensively minded and offensively set up. Next, Mendes tries to shoot another double leg takedown, and I think I saw Brendan Dorman talk about this. Again, I'm going to mention him. He said he used like a pyramid defense on the double leg that Mendes got against the fence. But Mendes shoots the double leg, gets him down, but Volkanovski's able to stand up and use his hips to push into Chad Mendes and push him back, and his hips were more powerful, and he stood right up. Again, take me down, you can't hold me down. Volkanovski, again, constant pressure, and he lands a shift left hand followed by a right hook. So a shift is, let's say you're in a right-handed stance. Your power hand's your right. You want to throw that left hand, right? So you're gonna throw the left hand, but you're gonna step into southpaw as you throw it. So it looks like you're unorthodox. You're gonna step forward with that right foot, land that straight left, and then come over the top with a right hook, which is what Volkanovski did. You could do a straight right hand as well, but Mendes was able to circle away from that right hook and get away. Volkanovski, again, jab to inside leg kick from the orthodox stance. Mendes tries to circle to his right to get away, but Volkanovski, again, like I said, he cuts you off in every direction. So he throws that jab, inside leg kick. Mendes goes to circle towards the leg he got kicked on. Volkanovski switches to a left-handed stance, switches to southpaw. And let me see, switches to southpaw and lands a jab cross. So, okay, you want to go towards your left? I'm going to cut you off and make you go towards the right. So it's jab, inside leg kick. Oh, you're going to go that way? Switch stance, left hand, pop, 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 and keep you against the fence. Then he switches back to orthodox and throws the overhand right as Mendes circles when he crowds him and gets close to him. Very, very smart. That was one of the best things I saw Volkanovski do in this entire fight, and it was just incredible. That combination, it's probably hard for you guys to know what I'm talking about if you're not training. Look up the highlights after you listen to this, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Volkanovski gets taken down again after he pressures Mendes, but Volkanovski again is able to turn into Mendes. But this was a takedown where he got it towards the middle of the cage. So he took him down. Volkanovski was able to try to get up. Mendes goes to take his back. He gets the back, flips Volkanovski over, but then Volkanovski is able to circle towards Chad Mendes on the ground and get up to his feet. When somebody has your back, you want to circle towards them. You don't want to if they're on top of you too. You want to move towards them. You don't want to circle away because it gives up your back again. And they're able to get off their game if you circle away from them. But if you circle towards them, you're able to get your hips back out and get up to your feet, which is what Volkanovski did. Back on the pressure again. He lands a power uppercut to a right hook on the same side in order to circle Mendes back towards the fence and crowd him. Like I said, every direction you go, he's got something for you. So right uppercut, right hook. Oh, you're going to go to the left? Left high kick. You're back to the right. He lands knees to right and left hooks as he gets, this is towards the end of the fight. Mendes is exhausted. Just knee, right hook, left hook, elbow. He lands a solid elbow in the clinch against the fence where he has the head control and like the overhook on the bicep. Just boom, lands that elbow. You could see Mendes was just done, and he's trying to move away. He can't really move. Volkanovski goes back on the pressure again with that high guard, push you towards the fence, and he lands a left hook to the body and then a right hook up top, grazing his head knocking out Chad Mendes in the second round, setting up a fight at UFC 237 against Jose Aldo Jr. So, again, this fight, I was worried for Volkanovski, but I knew he was smart enough to get it done. One of the main things he used in this fight is right away, it was fakes and feints. Fakes and feints. Draw the attacks out from you and freeze you up. And one of the main things everybody knows that Jose Aldo likes to do is throw that outside leg kick. The jab cross, lead hook to the body, outside leg kick. Or lead hook to the body, outside leg kick. The Dutchy combination. But Volkanovski used constant inside leg kicks and lead leg kicks to the head, to the body, and to the legs. You know why? Because if you're kicking on your lead leg, Aldo's not able to plant off that lead leg and fire that back roundhouse kick. He can't throw his roundhouse kick because you're crowding him. You're throwing the kicks to stop Aldo from throwing his kicks. I said it in my breakdown. He probably had to do this, and that's what he did. My breakdown for UFC 237. If you haven't heard it, I know the fights are over. Go back and watch it, and I also have an analysis up. Aldo tried to throw the right hook, left hook to the body, but Volkanovski, again, defensively minded, was able to lower those elbows and keep it down. And whenever Aldo tried to throw, like when he would try to pressure him and throw wild punches, Volkanovski would crowd him again with that high guard and then get him in the clinch and push him against the fence. Did this for all 3 rounds if they weren't in striking distance and they were in clinch range. And he did this all the time and just held him up against the fence to tire out Aldo. And this was more of shutting down Aldo's offense and making your defense effective. So he shut down Jose Aldo in this fight. Aldo didn't really get a chance to do much of anything at all. One of the exchanges they had in the fight in the first round is Aldo caught a kick from Volkanovski, but Volkanovski anticipated the counter and timed it into a spinning back fist. So Volkanovski got the kick caught. Aldo's like, okay, I'm going to come in and throw that looping left hook or that right hand. Volkanovski, boom, spinning back fist off the kick. Use that momentum from the kick to spin through and land that spinning back fist. And again, jab you. He's got a really slick jab. So Volkanovski fakes and feints, throws that jab, and then moves in to get you into clinch range and hold you up against the fence. Holding and controlling you. Second round comes out, continues to land outside leg kicks off of the fakes and feints. Outside leg kick to time a hook cross as Aldo tries to come in. So he uses that outside leg kick. He sees you coming in, hook cross. Set up with that lead hook to a right hand. So he sees you coming in. Oh, leg kick. Oh, he's going to go to my legs again. Boom, boom. Left hook, right hand. And then one of the things I watched, because when I saw the highlights, I didn't notice this during the actual fight, but Volkanovski feints the right hand because Aldo always thinks Volkanovski's going to throw the jab and then throw that looping like corkscrew of a right hand and then use it to get into clinch range or back away from you and crowd you. But he fakes the right hand and uses it to throw a jab to an inside leg kick. Again, fakes and feints. Oh, you think I'm coming with the right hand? Jab, inside leg kick. Boom. Or inside leg kick to a jab. And then again, he threw the right leg kick once. Boom. Got hit him with the right leg kick. Faked it. Okay, you're going to throw the right leg kick again? No. He fakes it, comes around, and then throws, what did he say? Fakes it, then he throws the low kick again, and then fakes it again. Okay, I mixed that up. I'm sorry. Let me go through this again. So he threw the right leg kick. It lands. He faked the right leg kick, so Aldo tried to block the right leg kick. Like, okay, here, you're going to throw a right leg kick. I'll check it or I'll get out of the way. And then he used something TJ Dillashaw likes to use. Fake. He rolled under towards his right and threw the left high kick. Dillashaw uses this all the time. Fake one way, roll under, and throw the lead high kick. I like to use it as well, but I normally use it from my back leg, where I'll fake I'll kick you on the inside, I'll throw a jab, and then I'll fake the right hand and come over with that right high kick. So he did this against Aldo. Again, he can't go in any direction. He's always got something for you. And then again, just the rest of the fight, it was just more of the same. And it was a lot of whenever Aldo tried to come close to him, he would crowd him. And whenever he was on the outside, inside leg kicks, outside leg kicks, and jabs to keep you off of him. And he ended up getting a unanimous decision in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And that's it. We don't know what his next fight's going to be. I'm guessing he's going to get the winner of Frankie Edgar, Max Holloway, which takes place at UFC 240. Is it 240? I think it's 240, right? Yeah, 240 in Edmonton in July in Canada. I think Holloway's too technical for Frankie Edgar to handle. I think he finishes Frankie Edgar, and then we get Whitaker, Adesanya, and maybe Volkanovski and Holloway. But who knows, guys? That's my breakdown so far. I'll be excited to see Volkanovski when he gets a shot against Holloway. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. Again, I don't know who's on the next episode. Maybe Khabib Nurmagomedov, maybe Rose Namajunas. But that's it for this episode, guys. This has been the Double Trouble Breakdown. I'm Double M. Make sure to get this podcast out to your friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, coworkers, whoever you got. Get it to Volkanovski. I'd love for him to hear it. I'm going to send it to him, but post it on your social media and get it out for me. I can't do it on my own. All right, guys. Have a good one.